Kobe, I'm gonna need you to breathe deep with me as you let Mother Earth blow wind into your vagina. This movie's a trip. Uh, what's what's going on, guys? My name is Barry,
This is Colby.
and this is Who Watches This.
Theme music.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the third week of the public domain verse.
Yeah.
And you know,
These have been super fun.
Especially this week's movie, it was so campy.
Oh yeah.
And I believe it was like a British film, so it was nice, like a British campy film, which is like a different, because you don't really, unfortunately, like we don't, they don't really advertise too much to the the Western across the pond audience for their campy horror film movies.
Right. I appreciate that Tubi took a chance on this one.
I ended up watching this on freaking Peacock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it actually had like two different names, so I was like, I got kind of confused on that, but I was like, I'm pretty sure we watched the same one.
Yes. So, Curse of Humpty Dumpty 2 is the same as Cult of Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah. So yeah, I was like, I already knew we were watching a sequel, so
it is technically a sequel, and then there is a third part as well.
Oh yeah, you said it before we got to the Rhyme Fest.
Oh, goodness.
Well, let's go to the Rhyme Fest real quick then. There once was an egg who fell off a wall, but magic put him back together, and he started to squall. And instead of becoming a being of benevolence, he instead became a vessel for malevolence. Now a cult came about and put a plan together all frumpy. Let's find out what happens in 2022's Cult of Humpty Dumpty. Yeah, there's not a lot of words that rhyme with Dumpty.
I see, and I messed it up beforehand, and that was you had put some thought into that. It was a good one.
I don't know, but yeah, we're talking about the I believe British indie film Cult of Humpty Dumpty, who Colby has said that there are two names. So as I was watching it, because it starts off like it's a sequel,
right?
Unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah, and that's like, that's the one thing about like some movies, like they've rebranded movies, and then you're like, oh, this is a sequel.
Yeah, I didn't. If obviously if it would have said Curse of Humpty Dumpty 2, you'd
have been, oh, well, hold on.
That must be a sequel.
Yeah,
but yeah. But you said that like British. I feel like was Blood and Honey British?
That's probably British too.
Because there is a couple people from this that are in that.
Was there?
There was. The next door neighbor, or I guess the aunt.
Like, are you talking about the older woman that was wrangling the girls, or
no? So
neighbor lady.
So in this one, the lady who was like, it should be my house. I should get half of the profit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She gets murdered in she doesn't even have a name. It's just like girl who gets murdered. And then the mom. Oh no, sorry, I totally messed that up. Never mind. Ignore me.
Yeah, I feel like this might be a part of like British like the UK's Asylum, like the UK version of Asylum Pictures, where
Right,
they just
right.
like recycle a lot of like other actors and actresses.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't get Boob Girl in this one, so I was like, ugh, disappointing.
See, see what happened. See what happened there was I was like, I watched this movie, and then I was like, I feel like I've missed something, and then I went and I looked, and I realized it was a sequel. So then I watched the first one, and then I watched the third one, and then I went and watched the second one again, and it was like, oh, okay, got it. And so then those two things I was just saying are from the first movie.
Oh, so you did extensive research, you know.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, let's actually start off with this movie. It starts off with a blonde woman who is performing some sort of like I don't know ritual or something with a doll,
Right, right.
and super abruptly, it's a very unsettling I don't know doll of a Humpty Dumpty.
It is kind of terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, it especially gets more terrifying later on in the movie. But all of a sudden, it kind of cuts to like a box cutter, and then it cuts back to her, and her throat is slit. So it's a little bit of like last week's movie where you kind of don't get to see the kill sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. It kind of for me it was more palatable as far as like the kills go in this one.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it is much more it feels a lot more tenser, and so
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
And it's not like the murders are not just like totally off screen.
hmm
Like
yeah, you
you
get
know.
to see a decent amount of them
Yeah. Yeah.
happen, but and then all of a sudden we cut to a group of what it's like 4 or 5 girls being a
Right.
little bit unruly. They're they're partying, they're having guys over, so it's just we also never get a clear age on these girls.
Right. So I don't know if it was supposed to be high school or college or
Yeah.
some kind of boarding school. I was
It feels much more like it makes much more sense if they are in high school just because of like if I'm an adult I'm not going to this.
like, right.
you
Right.
know like you're not taking me anywhere. Like I'm over the age of being a child. I'm an adult. I'm just gonna leave.
Right. I mean, unless it's kind of like a halfway house,
Oh
and
yeah.
they're like troubled girls, but they don't really ever say that. So like
but
you're just guessing.
but even then there's always like you always have the choice to like leave,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but like yeah, and so we get wrangled up by this older lady, and I forgot her name, what her name is, but I'm just gonna call her Miss Crabapple, Miss Crabapple,
Miss Harity.
Miss Harity, and yeah, she's like, okay, girls, we're gonna go to a was it like a I don't know like a retreat.
Right. Yeah.
Where we're gonna get you girls all cleaned up because you all are troubled. You're getting into too much like naughtiness. Drugs and boys. And so we're gonna take you to this retreat. We're gonna clean you up. Meditation. We're gonna show you the the benefits of hard work.
Right. It's almost like a hippie commune. Like
Yeah,
kind of you get
yeah.
the idea.
I definitely don't trust those things either. Yeah, and so yeah, they end up going to like this place ran by a man named Steven, who I believe is like the only American on here. And I was like, oh great, make us look like total jagoffs. But we also meet a boy named Rory, who he's dressed like as like the British people would say a Ute, a troubled Ute. He has like the oversized zip up like sweat jacket. He has the hat to the side.
And I don't know if he was supposed to be, but he seemed a little slow, a little.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like it's weird. Maybe he's just like a little like he's I don't know. I don't know if this is even right to say, but special ed.
I, right.
But he seems really awkward. He might just have Asperger's. We me and Colby knew a kid with Asperger's, and he was just very socially awkward. Yeah, but yeah, and so like Steven is like, okay, girls, here's the rules. No phones. We're gonna be eating clean. We're not gonna be doing any fast food. I'm gonna have you girls work on the farm. To show you like the benefits of working. And we're gonna get you girls all sobered up, because you girls are a rowdy bunch.
Yes, yeah.
And so, yeah, and so, like, the girls kind of disperse, obviously very disgruntled with the whole situation because, they're, when you take away a phone from a teenager, it is like, you might as well just take the heroin away from them.
Right. No phones, no cars. They have to walk.
Oh, everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're basically, like, in the middle of nowhere, so, I mean, even if you, like, where are you going to go?
Right.
But Rory ends up taking, I believe her name is Amelia, who I feel like is pretty much our main character.
Yeah.
And they have, like, a little awkward, like, exchange. But, they start to go grab something to eat. They just got there that morning, so it's lunchtime, and Rory ends up giving her, like, I don't know, like a spoonful of salad. And she's like, oh, come on, dude, you need to give me more. And he's like, okay. It's very...
Right. A little sling blade.
Yeah, a very sling blade, freaking Bubba Gump. Or, like, not Bubba Gump, but a Bubba from Forrest Gump. And yeah, and so Steven's like, oh, I'm super glad that you guys are enjoying the food. That's awesome. But, make sure that you excrete, because, we excrete, but we don't waste. And
right, right. He had a little rhyme. I was like, the more you excrete, the more we get to eat, or something like that.
Yeah, that is that is the rhyme, and that is fucking haunting. Like, I get it, but you never want to know how the sausage is made.
Right. So basically, there's no animals on the commune, but they use human waste as the fertilizer for the for all the gardens.
Which I mean, I get. I mean, Matt Damon had to fucking poop on Mars for like months.
Right. Yeah.
So it's fine, but I don't want to know. You know what I mean? What would have been more disturbing is like if, as they're doing that, I was like, oh yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the cheese that's on your salad. And they cut to like a woman like breastfeeding her child. It's like, oh yeah, and just let you go. No, it's curdled from her milk. So yeah, obviously the girls are disturbed by that whole situation, but we cut away to our first girl, who is, I don't know what her name is, but she's blonde. So like they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna designate her as like the sluttiest of the group, but she has like a second phone.
Of course, she gave away her burner, not her real phone.
Yeah. And so she's trying to look for signal, but then she ends up going into this shed with all the creepy fucking doll parts.
Yeah.
She's like, what the hell? Ugh, gross. And then she accidentally runs into Steven, and Steven's like, hey, no phones, remember? And she basically tells Steven to fuck off. And then she like, she goes to take a shower, and I was like, oh, awesome. Boobs. But but it's like an outdoor shower, so she leaves her towel and her phone there, and as she's like checking the water, I don't know if it's extremely hot or extremely cold. I'm pretty sure cold.
I'm thinking cold.
But I was gonna say strange creature, but we saw it at the beginning of the movie. Humpty Dumpty comes, And he's like, "Oh, look at this phone," and he takes like a selfie with it
Right.
accidentally.
Yeah, accidentally. He's just playing with it, and then
Yeah, and then she steps out and she's like, "What the fuck? Oh, pervert! Give me my phone back!" But right behind her, Steven, and he's like, "Thank you for your sacrifice."
yep.
And Steven ends up cutting her throat. This is like that's like one of the kills we do get to see. And then the next scene, it's Humpty Dumpty like sucking on her neck like a goddamn gusher. And he is like, Humpty, this would be so much easier if you're a vegetarian.
Right. Yep.
But like the design of like when he's eating, it's like it's that is extremely like disturbing.
Yes, it kind of goes almost like a little bit of like a predator mouth, kind of.
Yeah, it almost feels like a Pennywise type of like.
Yeah, yeah.
It has like it's very like Stephen King Cthulhu, not Stephen King Cthulhu, but like H.P. Lovecraftian Cthulhu like, because the mouth is like disjointed and it has all like, tentacles, kind of like little tiny tentacles coming out of it.
Yeah,
So,
it's a weird like demon escaping from the egg, kind
yeah.
of.
Unfortunately, like it's still like it's a pretty cheap movie, so the mask is like really cheap. So it's not too disturbing, you know. But I was like, in my head, I was imagining it with better, like a better budget. And I was, oh, that would be so cool. Like it would look so gross.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know? Like one thing I always thought about too when I was watching that is like, a lot of people like suffer or not suffer, but like have what is it called? Tryptophobia, like a fear of holes. And it's like no one has like done like a tentacle monster like that with like little tiny holes outside of it.
Mm.
So like that would kind of like that would make their like skin crawl a little bit more and make it a little bit more unsettling, right?
Right.
But the next morning they're like, "Oh hey girls, the blonde one left, but don't worry, she was the bad egg."
Yeah. Yeah.
But the girls are like, "No, she couldn't have left. She's one of
Right.
us."
She wouldn't have left without saying goodbye, at least.
Yeah, and then like if she was leaving, she could have took us. But Steven is like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that your friend left, but you know what that means? That you guys get to pick up the slack."
Right. More work for you,
But
lucky girl.
and they're like, and Steven's like, "Hey, but you know what? Don't worry, because after all this work, we're gonna have a really awesome reward for you guys."
Yeah. Yeah. And one of them's like, "We get paid," and they're like, "No."
No, I absolutely not. Yeah, like Miss Harity is she, at the beginning of the movie she seems a little bit more like put together, but like the moment she gets here she's very much like Stepford housewife.
Yes. Yeah.
Whatever Steven says goes. She doesn't speak until he speaks. Yeah, it's
But
very.
she's a little giggly around him, so you get the idea that she's
Yeah.
a little smitten by him.
Yeah, exactly, right? And so like,
even though he's not much to look at.
I know. Oh, but he's American and he's a hippie. Ooh. And Steven has been like throughout this whole movie, he always talks about Mother Earth and we should all be vegetarians. I'm pretty sure this is like UK's disdain for like vegans and vegetarians. Because like there's not a like there's a very little British people that I do meet, but very little like the ones I have met is like no bangers and mash, fish and chips, meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they have to go clean the outhouse or something, and they're like obviously super fucking disgusted with this whole situation. And
it's everybody's staying like in like a little kind of like reusable trailers.
Yeah, like small little annexes.
Yeah, like it's like they look like trailers that used to be camping trailers and then got like defunct, and then they just like pulled them out of like a I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
a wrecking yard.
Exactly.
But since they're all beat up and ugly looking, that's part of their chores, because apparently the mayor is coming at the end of the week and they want the the place to look nice for the mayor so that they can ask for a grant to expand.
Yeah, which is like also like really weird because it's like if I'm a mayor, I'm just sending a proxy. Like, hey, go check that out. I don't have time for that. But no, and then after that they have to go fix the shed, another shed that they have to go clean up, and they're just dicking around in there. Really, like what do you expect four girls to do with like this junkyard, pretty much?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no supervision, so no one's telling them what to do. So they're just like moving shit around.
Right. What's all like piles of like
Yeah, spare
debris?
parts. Yeah.
Where do you put them?
Yeah, but then like we have like a little flashback with Amelia, and she's like flashing back to like when the girls were having a little party, and she's like hearing like the redheaded girl who again biblically a harlot, uh, having sex with somebody, and they're like, and she's like kind of worried about something, and then it cuts back to them dicking around again, and then after they finish this chore, Steven's like, "All right, guys, it's time for your reward." And they're standing in this fucking open field, like Children of the Corn style.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What are we supposed to do here?" And it's like, "It's your meditation hour. That's your reward." And I was like, if I was a juvenile, like Ute at the time, I probably would have like kicked them in the balls. I was like, "This is bullshit, dude. Like, a pizza party at least."
Right. Yeah. So let's have some food that didn't grow in my poop.
Exactly. All right. And he starts like waving around, humming, and then the girls kind of join in for a second as like a joke, but then I don't know if it's maybe some sort of hypnotizing situation.
Right. Some kind of hypnotic chant or
Yeah.
something.
Because then all of a sudden they start doing it, they start waving, and then all of a sudden Rory pops out of nowhere. And the girls like slowly disappear one by one.
Yeah, they start kind of like passing out, but then
Yeah.
at the same point, you're also seeing like Humpty in the shed, kind
Yeah.
of dancing along with the music as well.
He's like, "Yeah,
So
this
I
is
don't know
my
if he's
fucking
like
jam, dude."
if he's sucking their energy, their life force. I'm not sure.
Maybe. And then like at this point too, Miss Harity seems to be like starting to like act more ditzy,
Yes.
which is strange, right? But then all of a sudden we cut away to Amelia and Rory. Steven kind of has it out for Amelia. So she's like, "Oh, hey, you're not done." She's
Right.
like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Oh, no, you're going to have to go fix this room because, your friend disappeared. Or your friend went home. So, Rory's going to do that with you." But then, like, Rory's like, "Oh, no, you got to do it yourself. So I'll wait right here." But then, like, she gets a note on her friend's bed. And then
Yeah.
underneath the bed is, like, her friend's phone.
Right.
And
Right.
so when she goes outside, she's like, "Rory, hey, what's this about?" Rory's gone.
Yeah.
But then she goes to the harlots annex, and she's trying to get some dick.
Right. Yeah. She's on Rory.
And I don't know. It's the passage of time in this movie is strange because like when we get a clear shot of them in the room, it looks like she's like about to put the condom on him, and then 3-4 seconds later, she kind of like Amelia's like, "No, fuck this. I need to go talk to Rory." He like bursts out of there with his clothes fully on already, and she's like, "Where are you going? I was almost there." And I was like, "Oh, now I know this is a fiction." A girl almost there after 3 to 4 seconds. And she gets like super mad at Amelia. She's like, "Oh, you're always trying to ruin shit."
Right. Yeah.
And then this is where we get a shot of like Amelia doing a flashback of her looking at a pregnancy test. And so we're like, "Oh, okay, so she's, that's her like troubled youthness, right?"
Yeah.
The harlot tries to go looking for Rory 'cause she's like, "No, we're not done. I need to come." Unfortunately, before she can find Rory to finish, she finds Steven. And Steven kills her.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
again, Humpty Dumpty comes crawling like fucking Gollum, and he's like with his little tentacle mouth and starts to feast on the harlot. And so now we're only left with three girls, which is I believe the girl with the glasses,
Right.
and I believe the Indian girl. These characters don't matter so much that I didn't bother to learn their names. And
Isla,
Isla,
Sarah,
oh, and Amelia.
and Amelia.
Okay, Isla is the girl with the glasses. Sarah is like the Indian girl,
Yeah.
and Amelia is obviously our main character. And so now, like, they're like, "Oh, hey, your other friend, she had to go home. She was caught fornicating or trying to sexually assault."
Canoodling.
Yeah, canoodling. Yeah, that's what they're like.
So we
Canoodling Rory.
so we put her in a taxi and we sent her home to her mom and dad. And they're like, her mom and dad are dead. And it's like, oh, it's just a common saying, a phrase.
It's not. It's like no, it's guardians. Like and they're like she doesn't have that either.
Yeah.
She's an orphan. I was like, maybe these girls are orphans. They're all orphans.
Oh, that could be it too.
Maybe we never really get a clear indicator on these girls' backstory, so we don't know what these girls are all about. And so now they're like, okay, something strange is going on. But then like Isla knows something. She's like, oh my gosh, because then I feel like they discovered something in one of the warehouses or something like that.
Right, because she's got like a notebook that
Yeah.
that has like pictures and like a little bit of story about Humpty Dumpty, and she just assumed that it was,
Humpty Dumpty.
somebody writing like tall tales or whatever.
Well, it's
and
because
then
Amelia had the phone and she showed the picture of Humpty Dumpty.
right, and she's like, "Oh, that reminds me of the picture in the book."
Yeah. And it's the story of Humpty Dumpty who fell off a wall. I really don't remember that story too much either. And I'm not so. Go ahead.
Oh, and then in the little book, she's like, "There's this little piece of paper in the book, and I thought it was a bookmark, but it's a newspaper article about a lady who killed her kids, and there's your connection to the first movie."
Oh, okay. And so now, yeah, they're like, "Oh, this is weird. We should probably find a way out of here." But Isla and Amelia is like, "No, we have to find out more because we have to find out what happened to our friends first." And so she kind of brings Isla with her, and Sarah's like, "Nah, fuck this. I'm getting the fuck out of here." And so they split up, which obviously, party foul in horror movies 101. You never split up.
But the one girl's like, "I don't believe you at all."
Yeah, she's like, "This is ridiculous," which I mean is fucking fair. You're like, oh, it's like me saying like, "Oh yeah, Freddy Krueger is gonna come after us, so never sleep, guys."
Yeah, right. But from the book they get a little tiny bit of story, so they kind of get that it's a doll that has a human heart, and it's possessed by demon trickster god.
Yeah.
And then if you make sacrifices to it, it will grant you wishes.
Which, like if you're gonna make a sacrifice to something, the trickster god is the last person you want to make one to.
Right.
You're gonna get wishmastered.
Exactly.
You wanted so much money, and now everything you touch turns into money. Or something like that. You're gonna get wishmastered, monkey's pawed into a situation. That's like the last person you want to get wishes from. You know what I mean? He's like, "Oh, I want to fuck a whole bunch of women." Now it's just, but it's like, yeah, you wanted to fuck girls, but you didn't say like human girls or human women. Now you're cursed to like fuck, I don't know, orangutans or something like that.
Right.
But no, and so like Isla or no, Sarah, yeah, Sarah ends up getting killed by, she runs into Steven again, who I feel like is really doing most of the killings.
Hey, right, right. And then this one, Stevens again. Thank you for your sacrifice. But then he just holds her while Humpty stabs her.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's a two-man team, They're gunning for the WWE championship, the tag team championship.
I kind of get it. Like Humpty is at this point weak, and he is like
Oh, it's like a Freddy and Jason situation.
Gaining his strength by through these sacrifices.
Yeah, so it's a Freddy versus Jason situation.
Yeah,
Where,
yeah,
like, in this metaphor, Humpty Dumpty is Freddy.
yeah, yeah.
And so now the two girls are kind of like, they get confronted by Miss Harity and Steven. They're like, what's it called? Like, Mrs. Harity is like, I don't know. She's super forgetful, and Steven's like, no, Amelia, you are the innocent that we need, and Isla, she is the bookkeeper.
Right.
And I was like, when did these roles get assigned? Is she the bookkeeper just because she has like glasses? She's like the fucking nerd of this whole situation, and so like they kind of run away from the situation. But Amelia ends up meeting up with Rory, and they're kind of talking it out, and he's like, Rory's like, oh, we can't go yet. It's
right.
dark.
Because even though he's simple, he seems very innocent. So she's like, we gotta bring Rory with us because it's we can't let Humpty kill Rory.
And like like when Amelia meets Rory, he like kisses her.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, let's go into the shed. He's the most powerful at night. And so Rory does know something is going on. And so like Amelia's like, oh no, we have to escape together. Like, you've been trapped here, and this is why you've been complicit in all of this. Because, you've been trapped. And he's like, okay. I'm giving him like what's it called? The guy from the Goonies.
The sloth?
Yeah, I'm giving him like Sloth's like voice. Which I feel like he did talk like that the whole time,
He did. That's what I said. I think that he was like, I don't know if it was intentional, but he came across as
short bus,
as slow. Yeah.
Oh man, and so like he's like, no, we can't leave. Isla will be fine by herself while you stay in here with me. No, Isla was not fine.
No,
Isla got.
Yep.
She got while unfortunately reading a book. So I was like, oh, maybe Steven was right. She's, you can't, people out there, you can't read books in the dark. And that's how your eyes get bad. But
right.
The one myth I will bust for you guys is that, watching TV really close doesn't hurt your eyes. Watching TV far away, that actually does more damage.
Interesting. Now you know.
Now you know. But yeah, unfortunately, Isla gets killed and is again eaten. But during this time, Amelia does capture like a little meeting between Miss Harity and one of and the neighbor, and they're like, they're plotting to kill Humpty Dumpty. He's like, yeah, we gotta kill that creepy little fuck, and then we'll take his heart, and then we'll get all the wishes.
Right. Yeah, because they kind of have this like, hey, we know he's the trickster god. He's probably going to try to pull something on us. So once he grants our wish, we'll just take his heart, and that way we will control him forever.
Exactly. And so see, this, again, this is like the whole, tale as old as time dilemma. Human greed is more wishes. But in this aspect, I feel like if you're going up against a trickster god, you got to trick the trickster,
Right. I when they said that, I totally was like I flashed to the witch from Suicide Squad, the first one, where they have like her heart in like the little box, and every time she doesn't do something, they like poke it, and she's like, ah! Yeah.
Oh, Enchantress, right?
The Enchantress, yeah.
God, what a waste! What a waste of a movie, really.
It introduced the world to Harley. That's the only thing that matters about that movie.
I was mad because I actually liked Diablo's character from the comics. You know,
Right.
obviously, you know, like not a great character because he did do pretty horrific things, and but he was trying. But I don't know. It's a weird dynamic, right? But like a really cool pyromancer, as
Yeah,
far as like
yeah.
a comic books go, right? But no, so they finally, you know, they try to run. Rory and Amelia try to run away, but all Rory does is actually lead them to the cult.
Yes.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Amelia. I tried to get you away. Psych. Just kidding." And you're
I
like,
tried to
"Oh,
trick you or help you.
yeah."
I don't know. I'm confused.
Right? Evil little fuck, you know? This is why. This is why, you know, I don't give people any passes, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny, right? Because, like, I used to, like, back in high school, I used to know a kid with, like, Down syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, everyone would be so nice to him. But he was such a dick. Like, I looked around, like, to my peers. I was like, why are you guys, like, giving this kid a pass? He's being a dick. He knows he's a dick. Yeah? No, fuck that. Like, you know, like, I'm sorry you got dealt the hands that you got dealt. Doesn't give you a right to be a dick.
Yup.
Oh man, but no, and so like yeah, so now they're like, oh, we gotta sacrifice you. You know, you're the innocent. You're the last piece of our cult puzzle, and because of that, once we sacrifice you, we will get a wish from Humpty Dumpty.
Right.
And you know, but to complete this, first we must kill our firstborn. And Rory's like, what?
Don't kill me, Dad.
All right, and this is where we find out that Miss Harity and Steven are actually husband and wife,
Yeah.
and Rory is their child.
Right.
And Rory, you know, I told you, man, game is a game. You know, you want to trick people, you got to get ready to get tricked too. But you know, it's like the greatest betrayal, though, right? It's your parents that are tricking you.
Right. Yeah. For immortality. I mean, it's basically they're just like, hey, let's kill the kid. We want to
Right.
live forever.
And this is, you know, where we find out like this whole like small town, which, you know, again, this is like another bias I have of small towns. The mayor is also in on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, yes, we are the cult of Humpty Dumpty. And I was like, man, I chuckled at that because it was like, I can't take this cult seriously. Like, this is, that's the shittiest name for a cult and the shittiest, like, you know, trickster
Right, yeah.
god to look, you know. I was like, you guys couldn't go for Loki? That guy is fucking cool. Like, you know what I mean? It's like if you're gonna pick a trickster god, like Loki, I feel like is the most like pimp out of them. He's like the coolest one.
Right. Yeah.
He's the high school quarterback that smokes cigarettes, that's banging the hottest chick in school, and it's also banging the hottest chick's best friend. And Humpty Dumpty is like president of the AV club. Which, like, no.
Pushing the cart down the hallway with the old VCR.
Which, I mean, like, listen, no shade to, like, any president of the AV club, because I feel like those are the ones that got way more successful down the line. You know? But,
Yeah.
you know, like, come on. Like, if someone's going to ask me, like, oh, who's your trickster god? I don't want to say Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah.
That dude falls off walls. I want Loki, you know, the friggin' Jotunheim, half Jotunheim kid, you know, fucking frost giant. No, yeah, and so like, yeah, they kill Rory, and so like now they're like, oh, now the last piece is of you, Amelia, and once we, you know, they do the James Bond villain thing where they explain their whole situation.
Yeah. Yep.
And so, like, Amelia's like, wait, hold on. I killed my firstborn first.
Yeah.
And this is where we learned that Amelia ended up having to have an abortion.
Right. Right.
And so she's like, yeah, so you have to make my wish first, right? Because, I was, here first. Oh, we also find out that the more closer you are to like being a follower of Humpty Dumpty, the more he takes your memories.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, by the end of it, you might not even remember your wish. See? Trick. Gotcha. Uh,
And in the other two movies,
hmm.
the part one and part three, memory, uh, false memories and impairment and stuff is also a thing.
See?
So they carry that through.
Yeah, see? So, like, I don't know, pick a better one. Beelzebub, that guy eats a lot. You might get to eat. Probably won't, you probably eat too much, but, at least you know the game.
Right, right, yeah.
Oh, man. Or, you get into a thinner situation. That's another horrific movie.
Mm.
But yeah, so she's like, yeah, kill all these people. And yeah, and so they just stand there. That's like the funniest thing to me.
Right.
They're like, no, please don't, Humpty Dumpty. Miss Hardy's.
Yeah, like the first, like I understood, like the first one stands there because they're like, no, you're following us because we just killed people
Roar.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then but then after that, like I figured people would scatter, but no, they all just kind of stand there and
Maybe Humpty Dumpty had like some sort of like force situation happening. He's like making them stand there.
it's
Yeah.
possible. It's possible.
But yeah, no, and after that, Amelia's like, "Oh snap, you fulfilled my wish, didn't you?" And like Humpty Dumpty like nods his head, and she's like, "Are you? Does that mean I'm not safe anymore?" And he's like, "Yup." And so she like goes, she runs into like the shed. Humpty Dumpty follows her in like a very creepy manner. I'll give it that. It added some like creepy disjointed movement.
Yeah, yeah,
But she ends up getting like Amelia ends up getting the upper hand in like probably the most anticlimactic kill of a trickster god I've ever seen. She ends up like forking him.
right. With a pitchfork.
Yeah, with a pitchfork. Not fucking you
But
guys.
but 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 she knew to stab him in the heart because
It's the
when they were
human
reading in
part.
the book, they said he's got a human heart. And that's got to be the way to kill it.
So many weaknesses in this trickster god. See, that's what I said. AV Club.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're
Loki
deck.
wouldn't have fell for that.
Yeah, you're decking the AV Club president. You're not decking the captain of the football.
Right. Yeah.
The quarterback. Yeah, you're not decking that guy. And then like she kind of stumbles out and she like falls like onto one of the cars and takes out a cigarette, and then the police sirens are like blaring, and she's like, oh shit. She just sits there, and then a police officer comes out and he's like, hey, what happened here? And she's like, I don't remember. And she starts to laugh maniacally.
Yeah.
And that's how this movie ends.
And then there's a post-credit scene.
No, I looked for one. There was.
It's very nothing. There's like a pile of leaves next to the like barn,
Yeah.
and then like you see his little hand come out of the pile of leaves, and then it's over.
Such a Jason
Yeah.
ending. All right, before we get into talking about our thoughts about this movie, let's go to our other section, High Sar, Low Sar.
Boom, 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 boom. It did get a 10 out of 10.
Oh man.
Brilliant. It had me bursting out with laughter. The lines are so funny, and it is obvious that the film is self-aware and a complete and utter joke meant to be taken at face value rather than taken seriously. The production is what it is. In fact, I believe the low quality adds to the humor, and the fact Humpty Dumpty is just a small man in a suit makes it hilarious. Compared to the serious tone. It's hilarious compared to the serious tone of the first film. However, my only gripe is to understand this film, you must watch the first one first.
Okay. All right, and then we got a 1 out of 10. Ridiculous. This is one of those films that is so bad it's good. A group of girls get lured to a caravan site by a teacher. They meet a weird cult leader with an equally weird son. They turn out to be teachers. It turns out that the teachers are husband and son. The teacher is the wife of the husband and son. Not the wife of the son, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Then we meet a laughably bad monster slash vampire type creature called Humpty Dumpty. He kills one of the girls, and the teacher says she left and went home. Then the cult leader kills the next girl, and this continues until there is only one left. She escapes. Humpty Dumpty has promised the cult leader eternal life if he kills enough people. The whole story is absolute nonsense. I thought it was comedy. But apparently it's supposed to be a horror film. It could have been written by a child. I managed to watch to the end, but only to see how much more dumb it got. I almost forgot to mention the cult leader has a weird obsession with getting everyone to clean caravans. I thought that was gonna end by these women having Mother Earth blow up in their vaginas.
That was part of the chant when they were all meditating.
Yeah. I was like, that's a weird thing to say to a group of women.
Right, especially when you're the guy leading the chant. Yeah. Steve, watch yourself.
Yeah. Oh man, this movie it's like it's what last week's movie should have been. It's badly acted, but it seems very self-aware that it's badly acted.
Right.
The only one that's actually kind of halfway decent is Amelia, where I feel like she's the only one that's like, let me try a little bit.
And I feel like they couldn't have all just thought this is the best I can do, and like it kind of like my little review said, it definitely feels like it was directed to be campy.
Yeah,
like it just like it when you have like a movie and it's got like one bad actor and they kind of stand out. Yeah. Here it's like everybody is, but they're all like equally bad, so it's like,
yeah, it's not as bad. Oh, like and like so like in your review it talked about the serious tone of the first one.
Yeah.
So like how did you feel the first one versus the second one?
Very interesting. The first one was a horror movie.
Yeah.
It was legitimately a little scary, and it had some like real like twists and stuff in it where, like I said, like it had to do with the like memory. It's like the older lady is getting dementia and it's her kids are like trying to take care of her.
Yeah.
And she has like the Humpty Dumpty, and by the end of the movie, you like really don't know if Humpty Dumpty was just a doll and the mom with dementia killed her kids, or if Humpty Dumpty killed her kids.
Oh.
They played it pretty well. I mean, for a low budget
like horror flick,
it was good, and it was very like angles, things in the shadow, jump scares. I mean, legitimate horror movie. Then this one was very like goofy. Let's make fun of, like, we don't know where to go now, but we got, the okay to make a second one. Let's just like spoof the first one kind of.
And I think that's great though.
And then the third one is like a little bit, it almost loses because it's not scary enough to be like
the first one,
a real horror movie.
Yeah.
But it's not goofy enough to laugh at like this. So it's kind of like
they lost the sauce.
Yeah. You have to either go one or the other. You can't middle of the road two different genres like that. And so it kind of, I mean, it wasn't bad. It kind of filled in, like it kind of like closed up the story. And
yeah, but it's also like it always feels it always has like a feels bad situation when you end the trilogy like that. Because like
Yeah.
the first one, you could always make it like, yeah, let's make the first one like, scary. Let's do the twist with that one, because if you go back to any like beginning of any horror trilogy or horror series, whether it be Evil Dead, Friday the 13th, what's it called, Nightmare on Elm Street, the
Oh,
first movies
right.
always seem to be the most like scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
They put like, all right, let's like set up the serious tone. Let's try to put the fear of God in everybody, and then like and then the sequels come, and it's like, oh, it's more goofy, it's more
Right. Oh,
campy.
like, even like a Chucky kind of Child's Play kind of thing.
Oh yeah, oh
They
man,
try to
Chucky
make the
one
first
was
one
terrifying, because it's
right.
like, it's funny you say that, because I remember watching Chucky, and the whole dynamic was the same, because I was getting raised by a single mother.
Mm,
And like, when you're that young, and you have an adversary that's the same height.
right.
Because Chucky's like, at the end of the day, like, you go up against Chucky as a full grown adult. Like, this is why, like, the new ones, or like whatever the sequels after that, Chucky, when you're an adult, is like, I'm punting that thing.
Oh, right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, a good matchup is Chucky versus Sid from Toy Story. Yeah. But yeah, like, and then so like, when you have something as goofy as Humpty Dumpty is already, you gotta finish it campy. It's
Right.
just, that's how you stick that landing, and that's how that becomes like this underground cult movie. It's like, oh, you gotta watch this movie. It's actually hilarious. The first one's good. The first one is actually like trying to be scary, which is
Yeah.
fine, and then the second and third one are just complete like sleepaway campy.
And then in the third one, they kind of mentioned the reason that basically like he gets killed
Yeah.
or disappears. Um, like when he falls off the wall and breaks, they could put him back together. So as long as you still have somebody who's like a culty believer,
Yeah.
they can rebuild him, and that's how he can keep coming back to life.
And see, that's
And
that's
so,
also great. Like having an explanation of why things keep coming back.
yeah, and so actually, the person who is building him at the very beginning of the first movie is the person who's building him at the very beginning of the third movie.
Oh, okay.
Same actress.
Oh, okay. See, and because like, unfortunately, we don't really get that with like a lot of like well-known like horror icons. Like, why does Jason keep coming back?
Right.
He just becomes more super. Like the first Jason, the Friday the 13th. Oh, spoiler alert! It's his fucking mom. And then it's great because that kind of sets up the ending of that movie. Sets it up to be, oh, now it's like a supernatural thing.
Yeah.
And then same thing with like Freddy Krueger. It's like you already know he was supernatural to begin with. But and then you give like, and then that one kind of gives you the lore of like, oh, well, if you think about him, he'll come back. It's
Right. Yeah, as long as you believe, then he's still got energy.
Exactly. And so like, that's great when you try to give it, you give it like a reason to like, for it to come back. And that's like, not a lot of horror films do that. Like, I think, and it's the same with like that's one of the gripes I have about like the Terrifier series. Is because in the first movie, you think this is just a fucking deranged guy in a clown outfit.
Right.
And then like, oh, and then he becomes supernatural. And it kind of takes it like, unfortunately, like the brutality is there because that's what hooked a lot of people into the movie. But because now he's supernatural, it kind of takes away from like the reality of it. Like, oh, this could just be a normal bro.
Right. And that's why that first one that certainly was gory, but
Yeah.
it was also scary because
He could have just been a normal person.
right. Yeah, that's some guy that's you see on the subway, and he's gonna go home and take the makeup off, and you're not gonna know.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be gone for a year till he decides to put the makeup back on and start killing again.
And so, like, them doing this whole, like, oh, there's a cult behind it. It's great that you establish, okay, he's supernatural. Um, and then, like, you give, like, yeah, it builds a lore around Humpty Dumpty,
Yeah, yeah,
which, it's so great for, like, this indie film to do that. Because they don't have to. Like, they're like, we know, this is our budget. Do we have to make a lore? And so, like, in lieu, like really, I really just want to come back around to it. Is like, in lieu of, like, not having as much gory kill scenes as you would want from, like, a campy horror film, or, like, yeah, you give us lore. That's like another option that you guys build a very interesting character. And
right.
if you're having, like, okay, if you guys are screenwriters and you're having trouble, go to any fucking D&D shop in your area.
Mm. Right.
And have one of those
Exactly.
demented little fuckers. No, I love D&D guys, because they come up, like, they take the time to, like, create a rich tapestry of a character.
Right, and they have to do a new one every
Campaign.
yeah, every 6 weeks, and they have a new campaign start.
Yeah. Because, like, the prior one, they couldn't keep the same group of people.
Right, or they have an ending, so like
Yeah.
it finishes, and then they're like, okay, now we're going to go to the next.
Exactly. Oh, man. But yeah, we're coming into our hour, so I want to go ahead and thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check all of our other months down below. We have something for you. We have 250 plus episodes, so
I have so many. Oh my goodness.
there's a theme out there for you guys. All right.
Right.
Uh, but we do our reviews in 4 different sections. We have Stream It, DVD It, Blu-ray, and the Ultimate Box Collection. Kobe, where are you at for this one?
Since I've seen all three now, definitely box collection. This they all have rewatch value in
Yeah.
different reasons.
Yeah, I haven't seen the trilogy, but, like, if this is kind of like an indicator of it all, I think this is like one of those great movies to have on rotation for a horror part, like a Halloween party,
Right, right.
where it's like you don't have to pay attention. You can kind of come in at any point in time of the movie, and it's like, wow, that's dumb, but it's hilarious.
Right, yeah, and it's a creepy enough, like you said, like they did a great job with having like a little man in there, like, who is flexible, so he's like he walks funny,
Yeah,
and it it makes it very, like, the character very toy like.
yeah. I'm kind of upset though that the actor for Humpty Dumpty is just a Vietnamese guy. Like, I saw, like, the cast list. I was like, oh, dude, there's an Asian guy in here. Sweet. And I was like, where's this Asian guy at? And I was like, oh, he's Humpty Dumpty. Damn it. Feels demoralizing for the Asians. All right. Yeah. Strangely enough, yeah, I would probably go, like, freaking Ultimate Box Collection with this. This is so much fun. Like, it was such a fun watch. Like, it, and only because I watched the second one is, like, super campy, and that's kind of what hooks me on. And now I have to see the first one,
Right,
because I gotta
definitely.
see. I was like, oh, let me see how the origin started and stuff like that. But yeah, this is what's it called. We're coming to our end. Want to go ahead and thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check out our links down below, where we have all of our social medias.
Social media, we got our Twitter X, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, uh, YouTube, and like I always say, we're trying to be on those things more and more.
Yeah,
Certainly, hit us up, give us a category, give us a movie, if there's something you want us to review.
and we'll check that out. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Barry.
This is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. If you guys want to check out does the theme music, it is Lee Rosevere. It's called Arcade Montage. It's on the album Music Podcast 3, and Bandcamp is down below.
Thank you.